Hi everybody, welcome back to our Gold Experience C1 online classes. This is the first class for this week, and we're going to be starting on a new unit, Unit 7, and reading all about things that, this unit is about different ways of expressing ideas that are important to you, or to a person. Before we go ahead with the unit, it's probably a good idea now to remind you that starting next week we'll be moving our classes from YouTube to Zoom or other types of video conferencing. So I will be sending you, future continuous, I will be sending you, it's my intention, I will be sending you a link for you to connect. The time will be slightly different to our normal class before coronavirus due to conflicts and so on. I'll be looking probably to do it at 4 till 5 on Tuesday and Thursday. Okay? I think. Okay. Let me know if there's any problems there, but 4 till 5 Tuesday and Thursday. If everybody wants a different time, we can look at alternatives. Or maybe there are other times. But let's get back to the unit. Open your books on page 91. And there we have a picture of somebody expressing their opinion. And yeah, exactly. Okay. So it says, I like to make my voice heard. You know that expression? Yeah, I like to express my opinion and people know what I really think. Okay, is that true for you? I must confess, for me, I'm not sure that it is in my case. What kind of things would you speak out about? Are there any issues? The environment, equal rights. Maybe you are convinced that the best way is a free market or low taxation. Different items can be anything. Are there any things that you would talk about? Animal rights. Do you think media coverage of social issues can promote a positive action? Or do you think sometimes it just leads to indifference? Who cares? Some questions to think about. Okay, well, we're going to look at today how people can express what they feel is important to them. So turn the page over, look at page 92. We have a quote there from a very famous great man, Martin Luther King. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Okay, that is a famous quote. Are there any people that you admire in this way? Famous people who have spoken out against injustice, or any people that you look up to now or in the past because they stand up against injustice. Maybe the famous Greta standing up against all those people saying protect the environment would be an example. Well, this article is going to look at people who maybe don't use politics so much as a way of expressing their ideas, but something else. Read the introduction in part 3 here. Read on. Read the introduction. And let's predict what might the rest of the article contain. So just read the introduction. Okay, pause the video and then have a think and we'll check. Okay, so yeah, I think the article is probably, in my opinion, going to talk about how art can allow us to express our beliefs or our ideas, or look at problems, social injustices that need to be changed. Okay, as the title says, understanding life through art. Okay, so we're going to read the article. Okay, this is one of these exercises where you have 4 different sections. In this case, they're talking about 4 different art forms. Okay, related to particular issues. Read the article quickly. It's about 3 minutes, 2 minutes. Match the pictures at the bottom here to the sections A, B, C and D, and also what connection do the pictures have? What injustice or what idea is each section referring to? Pause the video. Good. Okay, so what about number 1? Okay, number 1 is related to section B. Okay, and it's talking about the problems of. It's a novel, but it's talking about homelessness, I think, more than anything. Okay, or how you can look at animal experimentation, that sort of thing. Different ideas, how novels can bring it forward. What about number 2? Number 2 is related to A, and it's related to a group of men who wrote poems in the First World War to talk about the horror of war. The horror of war. Not how it was so wonderful, but how it was so horrific. Number 3 is related to D, and D is, of course, all about how different mediums, in this case novels and films, can talk about these issues. Okay, in this case it's the story of 99 Homes, which is about the cost of housing foreclosures, losing your house because you can't pay the mortgage, the money to the bank. And finally, number 4 is C, and it's talking about the power of song. Okay, so we're going to read the article again, and for questions 1 to 10, we need to choose which section it refers to. Remember, the sections may be chosen more than once. You've done this lots of times, so you know how to do it. We've got an exam tip here. Just read it. We won't do the exercise. It says more than one section may seem to contain similar information, which may make your choice difficult. You always need to read the option carefully. For example, in number 3, it says which section points out how an art form has adapted to people's changing needs. Okay, the key words, adapted to changing needs. Okay, only one section will match the key words in the question. So we've looked at the question, adapting to changing needs. Look at the 2 marked areas, A and B. Which is the correct answer? Which information or which words in B or A or B, are referred to the option in the question? Boom, pause, stop. Okay, well, I hope you've got the answer as B. Yeah, adapted is a similar idea as accommodate. Okay, in this case, accommodate doesn't mean like to find a house for somebody. It means to find a space for, or to adapt, essentially. Accommodate differing reading habits. Okay, changes, shift, a change to shorter chapters. Okay, so it's much clearer there, 3B. So read through the rest of the questions, underline key words, look through the text, find the section of text which matches the idea, and then we'll check. Okay, so you can pause the video, take the time you need, probably about 7 to 8 minutes. Alright guys, so how have we go? So let's look through. Shall we? Number 1, what did you think? Yeah, number 1 is B, okay? 2 alternative approaches. 1 is B, is that right? Yes. Some, through their work, many authors also want to bring issues they regard as important by ensnaring us in the story, but then it says further on down, other writers, other writers set out to paint the issue very clearly from the outset. Okay, so there's 2 different approaches, alternatives in one genre. Okay, that's the important thing, in one genre, novels. Number 2 is C. Yeah, it's in 2 parts. Okay, change in the type of people. At first, in the past, it was created by the people who were struggling. So it was created by those people who had that problem. Whereas now, maybe more often, it's somebody possibly from a richer background or a different group who sings about the problems that other people have. 3 we know is B. 4 is A. Okay. Again, it's talking about how poetry is not normally of interest, but in this style of poetry was. 5, I've got as D, first sentence, okay. 2 art forms, novel and film. 6, C, yeah, there's right at the start again. A particular power to move people, taps into our body rhythms, okay. So that's talking about that natural connection. 7, D, okay. An ineffective technique. It says weaker films often feature monologues, but the better ones don't. So there's that weaker technique. 8 is A. Good. Right at the end it talks about the different forms, echo, rhythm, the marching bands. Okay. Number 9, D. Okay, again right at the end of the paragraph it talks about more recently suffragette illustrates a fight women have had for equality and even now. Okay, so problem still now. And number 10 is A. Yeah. War poetry before the First World War was more about the glory, okay, about patriotism after, or there was a very important number of poems and poets who wrote about the horrors, the real experience. Okay, now I'm going to give you a bonus, okay, but this bonus is not on this video. When I finish this video, I'm going to record another video, very, very short, where I'm going to read you a poem by Wilfred Owen, okay, who is one of the most famous war poets from the First World War. Those of you who have been watching or have seen the series Peaky Blinders know the horrific effect that war had on different people. Okay, so I shall read that for you on a separate one. You can watch it, see it if you want. Okay. Number 6 is all about words from the article. Can you do that for homework and send it to me? Okay, you need to find, as it said, find words in the article that match these definitions. You may need to use context. You can check your ideas in the dictionary and check them with me. So there we go. Understanding life through art. The article discussed different art forms. Which ones do you most admire? In my case, I think they all have their place. Probably song is the one that, as it says there, it taps into your rhythms because they're short. It's something that captures you. But maybe film can actually really make you feel something much deeper if it's done well. Do you think politicians or creative artists have more influence on public opinion, or why? Now, that's an interesting one. Depends what you mean by politicians, I guess. I suspect maybe creative artists in the long term. Politicians have more effect on our lives, maybe, but creative artists may well have more influence on our opinions. What do you think? Okay, so we shall stop there. Remember, next week we'll be in Zoom, so we've still got one more video class. If you want, I'll now do the video with the poem, okay? The poem is called Dulce et Decorum Est, and it's by Wilfred Owen. Okay, that'll be on another thing. Okay, so see you soon. Bye-bye.